We will get this party started. We are simulcasting into the Lifestyle, the members only group. We've got Kendra with us, and it is time to get this party started now that Kendra has shown up. Hey, everybody, we've got Karen with us. All right, y'all. It's good to be with you. Today's topic, we're going to talk about how we get that stored fat. We're trying to lose this stuff here, trying to lose body fat, right? Most of us, we're trying to lose body fat. And understanding how it gets deposited, how it's removed, you'll have faith, as Melissa and I was talking, you'll have more faith in what you're doing because you'll understand it's put together very carefully so that if you have perfect days, you're losing mostly body fat. So we're going to entertain that discussion, and then we'll open it up for Q&A. Is there anybody that has to go within the next 10 minutes and you need to ask a question? We'll answer your question, and then we'll get into the topic. Anybody have a question that may have to go early? I am drinking Spark and Zip Boom. What does it do? It's Boom is for mental focus, clarity, mental health, reduces anxiety, optimizes hormones, gives energy, and Spark gives energy. Probably a little overkill with the caffeine, but felt that I needed it. Probably didn't, but I felt that I did. Anybody else? Any other questions? Joy is here. Good to have Joy. Okay, so let's just unpack. Let's just unpack how we get fat off of our bodies, excess fat. So when we say excess fat, we can do an assessment in our journal, or we can use REMFO scales, either one. We can determine how much excess fat we have, how much reserve fat we have, and how much essential fat we have. It's the muscle on our body, the bone, the lean tissue, the bone, the ligaments, the tendons, the muscle. It's the organs, it's that lean living tissue that is our metabolism. That's what requires energy to function and exist. Fat just jiggles and itches, but it does serve a very important vital part of our wellness. We have to have fat on our bodies because it stores valuable nutrients that we need, that we have to have a reserve of to function the way we're supposed to function. Fat is not a wordy dirt. So when you're looking at essential, reserve, and excess, it is without a doubt excess fat leads to almost all causes of premature mortality, excluding accidents. It is the great problem in our country that we know is a problem, but that we've just accepted. You literally would have no health care crisis or insurance, inflated insurance costs in the United States if we would deal with not reserve fat, not essential fat, but excess fat. Can I get on us today? Can I really get us fired up? I want you to think about what I'm saying today and think about it more deeply, because you're desensitized. All you hear all day long, if you've ever Googled how to lose weight, is ad after ad after ad about all these things, whether it be shots, pills, potions, surgeries, wraps, junk, whatever it is. All you hear is, here's all the ways you can get the weight off. It desensitizes us. And you have all these little players in the game that make money, like me. You have all these little players in the game, but you have a big player in the game. You have Big Pharma. In this country, there is no, it is not incentivized to get us healthy. Most of the stuff that you hear out there is not going to get you healthy. It's going to make you more sick. There's capitalism here is incentivized. Big Pharma is incentivized to keep us sick. So unless we wake up and the scales fall from our eyes and we start reading our Bibles and we start trying to be all we can be, we're just going to continue to be desensitized. If we could talk about nuclear war, we could talk about artificial intelligence, we could talk about the aliens, we could talk about all these threats to our early demise, and people would line up trying to get into churches. Do y'all remember the Iraq war and how the churches was filled up, and then the 9/11, how the churches was filled up? We're worried about all these threats, but there's none greater. There's just zero greater than excess body fat. That sounds silly, but it's true. And look around. Now, when I started this, more than 50% of our populace fell in an overweight, obese, or morbidly obese category. Now it's 74% fall in one of three categories. We are desensitized. It's kind of like if you're in the church and you hear about somebody who they get themselves in a healthcare crisis because of drug addiction. Oh, we all talk about that. But there's no use in talking about something where you look around and 74% of the congregation members are in the same boat. That's just not something. We're all in it together. It's all right. Nobody's dropping dead. We all on our medications. It's going to be all right. And we've got a problem. And the real challenge with it, in my estimation, is there's an easy solution. We're going to talk about that solution today and why that solution works. I've been saying this, and it's got me in a little trouble. You don't need a medication for something that self-discipline will fix. It's not your thyroid's problem. I'm not saying it's not a factor that goes into it. It's not your genetics. I'm not saying that's not a factor. But it's none of that stuff. It's simply a lack of self-discipline and knowledge. Everybody here's got the knowledge. If you've been around, you may not believe in it, but you've got the knowledge. You've got the power. And most of you definitely have the power, because the real power is not in the knowledge. It's in a relationship with Jesus Christ through the Holy Ghost. You have immense power inside of you, and you have the knowledge. And you should be zealous, because you can fix this so fast. You can fix it, Joy, in a blindingly fast pace, to the point that the devil will have to dispatch the demons from hell, inhabit the people around you to try to stop you from losing weight. I tell the truth. They will try to talk you out of it. As soon as you look like you're on a roll, they're going to tell you look sick. They're going to tell you ought not be doing it. It don't work. All that processed stuff. They're just going to go on. And that's the demons from hell in possessing them, trying to stop you because you're making progress. We can fix this. And the fix comes in the form of making your sandwich. Think about this. Will y'all hear the old man? The solution is in having a sandwich with a different bread, having a hot dog with a different bun. The solution is having a potato with chicken breast, but not with a steak. The solution is knowing what the snack formula is and the meal formula is, and choosing one of the thousands and thousands of recipes and approved foods, and then having some discipline to stop. And discipline's easier because we're controlling insulin and it's full of protein, and we're going to get full quicker. You can fix this so fast. If you've got 100 pounds or less to lose, you can fix this in under 6 months. If you've got more than 100 pounds to lose, you can fix it in under a year. And if it's more than 200, you can fix it in a year and a half. People do it all the time, and it gets better every single day. You don't need a pill, you don't need a potion, you don't need a wrap, you don't need a surgery, you don't need anything but the chief cornerstone and then some knowledge. And I commend you because you're here, you're doing it. But when is enough going to be enough? Depression is on the rise. Do you know what the #1 contributor to depression is? Obesity. Bipolar disorder on the rise. Do you know what the #1 contributor to bipolar disorder is? Obesity. And it goes on and on and on. And we got the solution here, praise God. We got the solution. You can fix it. And every day you can be losing 7 will go into 1%. Carl, how many times? We can be losing, a little better than 1/10 of a pound every day. So look, see this? This is 1 pound. Let me take this virtual thing off. Am I doing okay? Am I making you mad? Because if I don't make you mad, you ain't gonna fix it. I'm gonna make you mad, either at me or the devil. Do you see this? This is 1 pound of fat. My inbox is full of people that say, "What's wrong? I only lost 1 pound of fat." Put that in one of your arteries. It won't even fit. You dead. See these little lines that I drew? Every day with ease, you can lose that little hunk of chunk. And then by tomorrow, that hunk of chunk. By Wednesday, that hunk of chunk. Just every day. Eating good food. Somebody say the hunk of chunk's gotta go. Fat is not our enemy. It's excess fat that's our enemy. We need reserve fat. One of the things that's come up this week is, Travis, I'm afraid doing them Tiger days, I'm going to go into starvation mode. Do y'all see my perma-grin? Sister, all I know to do is to tell you to do what I do. Anytime the devil puts that thought in my mind, I get naked and look in the mirror and jump up and down. I go, nope, I'm not starving to death. I'm all right. I got plenty of excess fat to get me through the winter. Excess fat has got to go. Now, when you get into your reserve fat, you get rid of the excess fat, you start getting into the reserve fat, then we have to start being a little more careful. You might need to increase your calories depending on the look that you're going for. But when you get rid of the excess fat, from a statistical standpoint, you're as healthy as you can be from a fat deposit standpoint. If you want your look to change, then you have to get some of that reserve fat off. In fact, most of our ladies here that's over the age of 50, I wouldn't recommend you try to get reserve fat off. You actually need that reserve fat in I don't know, somebody help me with the right words, in the later years. We need that reserve. You don't want to get too lean. So we don't really it's not even that big of a problem. We got it built up in our mind that it's a big old problem. It is not that big of a problem. It can be fixed fast. Now, yo-yo dieting, we've talked a lot about that. It's terrible for the heart. That's another class. But I want to talk to you about getting that excess fat off and why you have to be careful with the type of tools, the type of things that you do to get it off. If we're fixated on the scales, we can be losing valuable, unnecessary amounts of valuable lean tissue. First of all, you are born with billions of fat cells depending on your genetics. Your capacity to store fat beyond that is limited to the amount of fat cells you have on your body. But as we continue to eat in a surplus, our body has to create more fat cells. Then that's why you don't see weight gain like this. You don't see weight gain like I put on a quarter pound a day. It doesn't work that way. It's up and down, and it comes on in chunks, right? So if you'll think about it, you're doing okay. You know you're not eating right, and you're probably eating too much, but scales ain't really jumping up or anything. Then all of a sudden you wake up one day and it's up 5. And then 3 months later it's up 10. It's just, it comes on in chunks. And the reason it does, your body, when you're eating in a surplus of calories, in order to store that surplus, has to create more fat cells. So I got up over 300 and I had increased my fat cells from birth because of surplus eating. And when I decided to lose it, I started losing it, but then I would inevitably backslide, relapse, and whatever I lost, I'd put it back on fast because the fat cells were already there. In other words, for me to get, let's say that I topped out at 315. I could get back to 315 myself in just a few months. I know that's hard to believe, but I could. I could get back to that level of body mass and fat mass, and then I would pause. I would have to actually increase my number of little garages, little fat cells, in order to start gaining again. And then when I fill those up, my body has to create more fat cells. We're not sitting in the Mexican restaurant having too much cheese dip and the cheese dip start dripping out of our eye and somebody go, ah, you eat too much cheese dip. Your body has to put the fat somewhere. So the efficiency of your fat storage comes from what hormone, everybody? You can store fat without this hormone. Insulin. Insulin works and operates like a syringe. Your blood sugar goes up, pancreas releases insulin, here comes the insulin, it attaches to the fat, and then it's looking for available fat cells to store that. That's how we gain the weight. So we have to reverse engineer in order to get the weight off. But if we're relying on the scales and all we care about is how fast that number's going down, that number, it can be water, glucose, muscle, fat, and it always is all of those. It's all of those. But what we're looking for is a plan of action that allows us to lose 60 to 80% of that coming from fat and the other coming from water, glucose, and muscle. We definitely don't want to lose much muscle. That's why if you see, not all, if you've had it, I'm not knocking you, I'm knocking the establishment. You see a lot of people that have had gastric bypass and they really struggle holding on to muscle. And they did lose a lot of weight, but a disproportionate amount was muscle. Good news, we can reconstitute that muscle. It was there. It's just like fat cells. By the way, have you ever seen like Arnold Schwarzenegger when he was the governor? He put on a lot of body fat, but then when he quit being governor, it's like he was 60 something at the time and he was all muscle again. All that muscle was still there, but those muscular cells, just like fat cells, had minimized. All he had to do was reconstitute them. So if I'm not trying to get anybody to feel hopeless or helpless if you've had gastric bypass or you've done dieting the wrong way and lost a lot of muscle. Those muscular cells are still there, and you can reconstitute them up to the amount of musculature you had very rapidly. But back to this, because I digressed on that. So when we're trying to lose weight, how do we ensure that most of that weight loss is coming from fat loss? It's real simple. There's only two ways to preserve muscle. Does anybody know what those two ways are? There you go, Deanna. I'll get mine out and do it with you so we look goofy together. Get 1,000 in a day. You'll have a jawline like nobody's business. Anybody know? Lisa, that's good. You hit one of them, protein. So amino acids via protein preserve muscle. So when I'm in a calorie deficit, my body has to make up that energy. That energy is stored in the liver, stored in the muscle, and stored in the fat. Do you see? That energy, we're in a deficit. We are in a deficit. I just had an amazing thought about these neck slimmers. Sorry, I got sidetracked with that. Joey's over there doing it. Y'all are getting it. We need a morning. If we really wanted to get thousands of people to class, I bet we could have a neck slimmer class in the morning, and I'll do 1,000 reps right here in these Brady Bunch tiles, and it would be a hoot.
Oh, you have to do 1,000? I only do 100 a day.
We need to get 1,000 a day.
Oh, geez.
All right, I'm sorry, y'all. Hey, Cheryl. Okay, so amino acids do not cause us to preserve muscle. Insulin causes us to preserve fat. Let me say that again. Insulin causes us to preserve fat. Amino acids cause us to preserve muscle. That's amino acids. Chicken breast is amino acids. We preserve muscle. So when we're in a calorie deficit, it's kind of like your body's going, where do I make up this energy? I've pulled the glucose from the liver. I've pulled some fatty acids that were available, but now where do I pull it from? Oh, this sister has set up a wall against me metabolizing muscle because she just had some protein. Make sense? So it's easier. Your body takes the road of, that's good. Thank you, Lord. Your body takes the road of least resistance, always. Does that make sense? Your body takes the path of least resistance, always from a metabolic standpoint. So where your body would love to burn through that muscle, you've set up a wall against it doing that very readily and efficiently, so it turns to fat, and we make up the difference from the fat. Now, if you've got high levels of insulin in your system, your body's going to burn more glucose and more muscle than it is fat. So I believe it was Lisa. Was it Lisa that said that? Like amino acids, protein. What's the other way to preserve muscle?
Exercise?
There you go. There you go. So we also preserve muscle through blood flow. Think about somebody that has here's a good example. When I ruptured my Achilles. So my right leg got measurably smaller than my left leg because it wasn't bearing any weight. Now it reconstituted itself, but if there's no blood flow, the muscle will atrophy. So use it or you'll lose it. So those two things, amino acids via protein, good quality, essential and non-essential aminos, especially branched chain amino acids, and use it or you'll lose it. So when we take a look at our system, We're staying properly hydrated to keep all the metabolic processes working efficiently. When you're dehydrated, you will not efficiently go through all the metabolic processes. So hydration. Then we've got food combinations to keep insulin at bay, because when there's high presence of insulin, your body is not going to pull from fat energy. It's going to pull more from muscular energy. And then you've got your portions to control your calories, timing for the digestion. So when we follow that protocol on a daily basis, most of the weight loss that we experience is going to come from excess fat. When folks are worried about starvation mode, we don't have to worry about that, because starvation mode is your body is saying, I'm not getting the energy that I need, nor do I have it stored. So I need to decrease all metabolic function. Apparently, we are living in a time of famine, and I need to decrease metabolic function to survive the famine. We're not in a famine. We've got to get rid of the excess fat. Then we can worry about preserving the reserve fat and the essential fat, especially the essential fat. When you get down to the last pounds of reserve fat and all you have remaining is essential fat, then you can enter that dreadful starvation mode that people warn you about. So what would that look like? That would look like females are 15% fat, body fat or less, men are 10% or less. Then metabolic function can start being greatly reduced. Any questions about any of that stuff? When we're looking at prioritization of nutrients, and that's basically what Shibboleth does, we've got macronutrients: protein, carbs, and fat. When my goal is weight loss, I should be saying fat loss. I want to prioritize protein first, fat second, carbs last. Another reason, on top of all the reasons I've just given you to do it this way, is that anytime, because your body does need fat, anytime you're not eating fat, your body will utilize fat resources more slowly. This is why the ketogenic diet works so well for some. So we prioritize protein first, fat second. If you look at the red column combinations, what you notice is it's low on starchy carbs. It's elevated fiber. Fiber is carbohydrate, but they don't have blood sugar impact. In fact, they slow it down and help control insulin. That's why the red column works so well. And protein, anywhere from 20 to 30, 35% of that protein, the calories from it are going to be used just in breaking the protein down. So you literally have exercise on a plate. When we get into maintenance, we look at protein, carbs, and fat. Now we prioritize protein. Still is first and most important. It's the building blocks of all life on our planet. We focus on protein and then a good balance of carbohydrate and fat, because we're in maintenance. If we're trying to build muscle and weight gain, we still have to prioritize protein and actually need more of it. We need extra raw material to build muscle. It's still first, but then carbohydrate is second place, because we need insulin in order to grow. And then a decent amount of fat, but carbohydrate starts taking precedence over fat. So if you look at red column, yellow column, it is geared toward helping you eliminate excess fat, where the blue column is geared toward maintenance and muscle preservation. Does that make sense? Kelly, when you say what tool was I using, do you mean the whiteboard or do you mean the neck slimmer? Any questions or comments about any of that? That's basically our lesson today. I wanted to reinforce to you why you need to be doing this program. We need the excess fat's got to go. All causes of mortality are decreased just by getting rid of excess fat. But I want to say this before you ask questions. You know what it's done for me more than help me with my physical health and well-being? Self-confidence, self-esteem, ability to navigate problems, abilities to press through. There's so much, even if I'm gone tomorrow, I know that this program has lengthened my life, but moreover, helped with the quality of my life. Losing body fat, there's nothing like it. It helps you get through the hard times that you couldn't otherwise get through, and it helps you enjoy the good times more. So please, 2024, get that excess fat off, please. Anybody? Jennifer, my son is 13 and 6 foot. He's lost over 20 pounds in weight loss mode. Now I'm trying to figure out what to do in maintenance mode for him. Go to your blue column. All of a sudden, fruit becomes a freebie or a snack. You can have it by itself and just move toward the blue column. If he goes back to eating carbohydrate incorrectly, he'll start putting on weight. The way to manage that is have your line in the sand number. Have your line in the sand number. That's what I do, so I don't have to worry too much about it. And I know that I'm disciplined enough to fix it because I don't ever want to go through the pain of obesity again. And that is 10 pounds for me. So whether it's water and glucose weight, anytime I'm up 10 pounds from my happy weight, I drop it like it's hot. I act like I'm 100 pounds overweight and I avoid blue column. I just go right back to red column and I just drop it like it's hot. It's a race to get back under my happy weight. And another thing, whatever your goal weight is, you need to get 5 to 10 pounds below that goal weight before you go into maintenance, because you're going to land on that goal weight. If you get to your goal weight and then start maintenance strategies, you're going to end up 10 pounds over that goal weight. So you want to get 5 to 10 below your goal before you stop losing, because you will land that way. You will springboard back up to your goal. Another way to do the program that I prefer, actually, it works better for me, is that I have 12 holidays. I do the program just as strict, just as extreme as ever, but I take 3 days off a week. I much prefer that maintenance strategy, and I have a lot more success with that. I just, on my 18 days a month, it's just strict, just like I'm trying to lose 100 pounds. But then I take 12 days off. That way I don't lose my discipline. I hope that makes sense.
So Travis, I have a question.
Uh-huh.
If my goal weight is 135, 130, you're saying I need to shoot for 120 or 125 and then go to maintenance?
I'm just saying my philosophy in seeing myself and seeing thousands of other clients, if you stop at your goal, when you start back eating carbs, you're going to have that fluid retention again. So let's say that your goal is 120. Then when you hit 120, if you then start with maintenance strategies, you're going to end up being about 130, which is still within your ideal weight range. Because when you start eating carbohydrate, you're going to pull in all that glucose and water. So whatever happy weight, if you're really intent on your happy weight being a specific number, I use a range. I use the idealweight.com. If I'm within that range, I'm happy. But if some people have their number. So if yours is 125, you better get to 115 before you stop trying to lose, because you're going to land 5 to 10 higher.
Okay.
If it's a number that you're after, you need to get 5 to 10 below that number, because you will land higher than that number when you start incorporating carbohydrate.
Yeah.
Anybody else?
Hey, Travis.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry. I started, I put myself on the 21-day meal plan, you know, to jumpstart me back, because I haven't been doing what I should be doing. I haven't felt well and stuff. And so I've leaned into that. But this morning, as of today, I started the 21-day fast or 21-day meal plan. And I noticed on there that it's got the Beverly Ump, but it don't have the GC control. Can I swap the GC control for the Beverly Ump in that?
Yeah, any approved shake. It's just an old challenge that we haven't updated. So yes, anytime you see a shake there, quality shakes are things like Beverly, GC control. When I say Beverly, I mean Chocolate, the ones that you all know about.
Yeah. Okay. I just wanted to make sure. I
It's
started out with one of the recipes, like the cinnamon apple
mhm.
GC control recipes. And that's what I had for breakfast this morning.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to make sure.
It's even better for weight loss.
Okay.
I don't think you can get that anymore though, can you? Because I really like that, but I'm out of mine. But I thought they discontinued it, which I was going to tell you, you need to tell them to get that back.
GC
Didn't
control.
They combined it, didn't they? I just got a bag of GC Control last week. It's now they combined, I guess they had a separate shake that was a Attain blocker.
Yeah.
Now it's GC Control with a Attain blocker.
Yeah.
Because I have a brand new bag. It's the first time I've tried it, and I'm going to actually do simplified next week for the first time. So I've never tasted them, but that's my understanding.
Yeah. They
Yep.
combined. They had two different ones that were so similar. They had Attain, which was for appetite control, GC control, insulin control. They've combined them. So it's the same thing. Yeah.
They just don't have all the flavors, I don't think, because I really like the apple cinnamon, but they don't have that or the peach anymore.
Yeah. Yeah. Manufacturing stuff. And, you know,
Yeah,
if you,
see, I've still got some of the old ones. I've got actually the creme brulee. If nobody ever got to try that, that was so good. Oh man, it was so good. And that's what I used and did the apple, you know, and the cinnamon in it. I needed the cinnamon for all this gunk going on and stuff, so I used that. But it was so good. But I just wanted to make sure.
yeah, it's fine. And the recipes can kind of make up, if you take the vanilla base and use the recipes, you can make them still very flavorful. That's what Mom's been making the chocolate chip cookies out of, is the vanilla.
Well,
I
it was
know,
really
waiting
good.
for that recipe.
All right.
She put it out there. Lisa can give it to you. Yeah.
Oh, great.
I think it's been in the library for a few days now, so she can get that to you.
Oh yeah, send it to me too, please.
Yeah. Lisa. Jennifer asks, is it okay to have UMP protein with PB and water to make a pudding as a snack? You can keep your overall calories below 300 for a meal, below 200 for a snack. Yep, I use protein powder for coffee creamer myself, or an RTD, ready to drink, like a vanilla, French vanilla. Anybody else? Yeah, the vault was recorded from yesterday. We will have Partner and Faithfully Fit class tonight at 7 p.m.
Hey, Travis, I have a quick question about Lion Days again. This is my second day. I'm doing two together this time. I skipped my collagen yesterday, so because I didn't know, I have no problem skipping my collagen for a couple of days, but typically on a lion day, do I want to avoid the collagen, or can I do it?
You can do it. Yeah.
Okay. I wasn't sure, and I usually put my collagen in my coffee, so I haven't had it yet today. Okay, good to know. Thank you.
Yeah, that's tier one. We actually that's perfect for a line day.
Oh, good to know, because yesterday, and I'm doing the same thing today. Spark is one of my meals, and then I'm doing just 2 actual meals. So perfect. Okay, thank you.
That collagen's perfect for a line day.
Great.
Anybody else? Any other questions, comments? In summary, preserve your muscle as much as you can. Don't listen to the scales, they're a liar. When you're losing, when those scales show you lost 10 pounds, I promise you only about a pound of that was fat. That's got to go. That water and glucose has to go. You want to make sure it's not muscle by following the program. But where we want to settle in, when most people are getting discouraged, that's when the fat loss is getting good. That's when the fat loss is getting good. That's why you hear so many people make the right observation. Scales aren't moving, but my clothes are falling off because you're starting to lose more and more fat. So as it looks like the weight loss is slowing, the fat loss has never been better. You're just getting to a place where you're developing a fat adapted metabolism when we usually see people quit. It's like that old meme where you got one guy, he's digging and he's about to get through to the other side. He's about to get to the light and he gives up, and the other person keeps digging and finds the light. So about the time most people are discouraged, that's really putting forth the effort and following the program. And they're like, but I was losing 10, 15 pounds every couple of weeks, and now I'm only losing like 5 pounds every 3-4 weeks. What is up? It's just discouraging. You've never lost more fat. You're actually developing a fat adapted metabolism, and you're not losing lean tissue, and you're not losing glucose and water anymore. You're losing fat. And if you just keep going, the time is going to pass whether you do this or not. But you just gotta put it in. When you hate every minute of the process, one day feels like 1,000 years. But if we could focus on gratitude and how much food that we do get and how great it is, and rewire our brain, like, I want seconds and I can't have seconds. You don't want seconds. You've never felt good after seconds. How many times have you had seconds and said, I wished I hadn't eaten another plate. I ruined the whole thing. Right, Carl? That happened. So start talking to yourself like that. Like, no, you're going to talk yourself into what you want to be talked into and out of what you want to be talked out of. And every time you talk yourself out of continuing this journey, deep down, I mean deep down, you just didn't want to put forth the effort, and you know it. Did that get me in trouble? You were looking for a way out from the discomfort. We all do it. But you got to talk yourself into it and think about the great payoff. It's almost summertime. It's almost summertime. Don't you want to be more active and feel better? But I've got 100 pounds to lose. We'll lose 20 of it. Things are getting better all the time. Talk yourself into it, not out of it. There's nothing that you can't have.
Travis,
Uh-huh.
when we're journaling, this is probably off topic, but something I've been wondering. When we're journaling, should we be putting the time that we start eating on our meals or the time that we actually finish that meal?
It doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter. Okay.
Just as long as you do it the same every time.
Gotcha.
Just do it the same every time. I take a picture of my food and I look at the time I took a picture, and then before bed, I enter it and I just time stamp it. You know,
Okay.
usually takes me 15 to 20 minutes to eat. So as long as I'm
Yeah.
consistent, it doesn't really matter. What I'm looking for mainly in my journal is how much time I didn't eat in a 24-hour period. So I'm shooting for 16 a day minimum. 12 is a good goal at first.
Gotcha.
Jennifer, about how much protein do we need to eat each day? Is there a way to figure it out? There is a way to figure it out, but don't let it complicate the program for you, because the 𝐂𝐨 Shield is typically going to keep you where you need to be. But I will go over it with you. Don't look at your protein requirement by the day. Okay? Don't look at it by the day. Look at it by the week. We got a little more time. Can I give y'all another thing that'll really help you in regards to this? Don't look at calorie consumption or protein consumption by the day. Look at it by the week. Let me show you this before we go. Now, some would say this is bad news. I like the truth will set you free, but at first it'll make you mad. But we need to know, right? We need to know the truth so that we can get our mind around the truth. Okay, so Melissa, we've got our weekdays. We're trying to have perfect days and all the days ending in Y. By the way, Lisa, I can't see the Facebook group. If there's any questions in the members only group, if you don't mind letting me know. So we're trying to have perfect days and all the days ending in Y. How many calories are stored in a pound of fat, everybody?
3,500.
3,500. So I've got to be in a deficit and control insulin to get those done with those calories. So let's look at me. So for numbers' sake, let's say I need 2,000 calories a day to maintain my current weight. Let's say that I got in 1,400 calories. I'm in a 600 calorie deficit. I followed Shibboleth. I controlled insulin. Therefore, the 600 is coming out of that 3,500 for the most part. So that means that I'm going to lose 1 pound of fat every 6 days. Does everybody see where I got that? Do you see where I got that math? This is important. Pretty big deficit. Doesn't include my walking. That's going to speed it up. Now I'm going to lose, with my walking regimen, I'm going to lose 1 pound of fat every 2.5 days. But we're talking about just this. 600 going to 3,500 6 times roughly. So 1 pound of fat every 6 days. Okay. Let's say that I did that every day. I'm in a 600 calorie deficit. Whoops. One, two, three, four, 5. Everybody see that? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 times 600. Let's go Saturday now. Saturday. So I lost about 1 pound of fat there. Monday through Saturday, I've lost 1 pound of fat if I don't get any exercise. Does everybody see that? I'm killing it, aren't I? I'm going to get into the protein too. I'm killing it. I'm destroying this. This is awesome. Now, I had to go speak yesterday evening. And the group that wanted me to speak wanted to have dinner at Jefferson's. If I had ordered 10 chicken wings, it said that 10 chicken wings was 5,000 calories. Are y'all with me? The way they cooked them, 10 chicken wings was 5,000. And I can have holidays. All right. The cheese sticks was another 3,500 calories. It would be nothing for me to eat a basket of cheese sticks and 10 chicken wings. That's 8,000 calories. I need 2,000 a day. So I just had a surplus of 6,000 calories. So in that week, I did great all 6 days except for Sunday in this example. Do you see this? Do you hear the old man? Stay with me. Stay with me. Stay with me. Listen. So I had a surplus of 6,000 calories. I just canceled out my entire week because of that hog trough day. If I did that. Now I didn't. What did I have instead? Jefferson's is great. Now, I'm not done. I'm just trying to show you the difference. What did I have? I had 300 calories of oysters and a side of low mayo slaw. Did I do all right? So instead of having 8,000 calories, I had under 500. Somebody give me a high five. And I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. All right, but come back with me here. Come back with me here. I tell you all, if you're going to count calories, make sure you stay at 8 times ideal weight, right? Or less. So someone will say, that's too few calories. No, it's not, because on the weekend, what are you going to do? So we're going to keep it even in a greater calorie deficit. But when I lose muscle, stay with me. Your body does not look at it like that. It doesn't say, I had too little protein today, I fasted, I'm going to burn muscle. That's not the way your body works. It looks at a greater snapshot. Are you with me? It looks at the whole. What is your lifestyle like? Bad analogy. But if I sin daily, but if I sin without thoughtfulness of it, and I become a drunk, a glutton, and a drug addict, and it's not a slip up, it's not a relapse, it's just I don't care, I do it. It's no longer a sin, it's a lifestyle of sin. It's purposeful, willful. So your body is very gracious. It's not going to punish you for one day of it's not going to punish you. It's going to punish you for the whole. So when we're looking at protein, probably really bad analogy now that I'm thinking about it. But anyway, it works. So with protein, it's the same thing. If you just follow the shield, you're going to get the right amount of protein. Okay? But if you're going to count your protein, what we need, if we're in fat loss mode, we need 1/2 up to 1 gram of protein per day per lean tissue. So let's say that I'm 200 pounds, but you take all the fat off my body, I'm 160. So I need anywhere from 80 grams to 160 grams a day. Then I multiply that out times the week to make sure the days I don't get enough protein, I make up for it with a protein shake later or whatever I need to do. So let's say as a lady, your lean tissue is 100 pounds. Take all the fat off your body. Let's say your bone, tendon, ligament, muscle, you're 100 pounds of water, bone, tendon, ligament, muscle. Then you're going to need 50 to 100 grams a day. In other words, throughout your week, you're going to need about 350 grams of protein to preserve in the weight loss mode. That changes when we try to build muscle. Does that make sense? But if you think about it, the Cibola Shield, you're easily going to get that per week. Anybody else?
Travis, I have a question that's kind of off topic, but something I've been thinking about. Have you heard of the FOD diet that John Hopkins put out? It's a gastrointestinal, supposed to help that. My husband's having some issues, but I was wondering what your thoughts were on that. They're wanting him to eat like that, but
I haven't even heard of that one.
okay. I think it's fairly new, but I just thought I'd see if you heard of it.
I hadn't. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Hadn't heard of that one.
Yeah, it's the FOD MAP is what it's called. MAP diet.
Yeah. Yeah. If it's calorie deficit and controls insulin and adequate protein, it'll work great. But The only time you really have to skirt around that is if you have autoimmune issues. Otherwise, most good quality programs are going to be built around Mediterranean, paleo, something like that.
Okay.
Those are other than Shibboleth, I'm a Shibboleth person. So other than something like Shibboleth, if I didn't have Shibboleth, which I think is the most versatile, because it can be flexible based upon a situation and goals and desire and all these things. So if I were going to lean into just a way of living and eating, it would be Mediterranean or pescatarian or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, I believe in your program and it's been working, but he just had some issues with, I'll just be honest because I don't know what other way to do it with the perforated colon. So he wants to avoid surgery and they're saying that he needs to change the way that he eats. So
He may have to stay away from roughage. He may have to stay away from, typically, if you have digestive tract issues, colon issues, you do have to stay away from insoluble fiber.
yeah.
I'll look into it.
That wouldn't be fiber wise though, right? Because I started him on that and it seems to be helping him a great deal.
You'd have to look at your map. I wouldn't know, because fiber in general, insoluble fiber, can be rough on a colon. We all need fiber, but if we've got some sort of illness that prevents us from being able to have it because we have a perforated colon, or we have problems with ulcers or whatever we have to be careful with insoluble fiber. And have to be careful with overcooked meat and all kinds of things. I just have to look at it to see the premise of it. I've not heard of it. But interesting. I've not heard of it. Stephanie asks, how much RTD shake can we put in coffee? You're really not going to have a problem with that. But, we've always said creamer should be just a smidge. But I'm not really worried about if it's mostly protein and not glucose and carbohydrate. I'm not really worried about how much protein you put in coffee, because you're not going to store it as fat. I am worried about you turning it into a bulletproof coffee and adding a lot of calories from fat. But if it's pure protein, then it's really not an issue. So whatever you like from a taste standpoint. Melanie says this diet Deanna's talking about restricts sugar, then I'm all about it. Sounds awesome. Sugar is death.
Yeah.
Sugar is death. Any recommendations for kidney disease? Shibboleth. I honestly cannot think of any illness, underlying disease that Shibboleth's not good for, as long as we have the intelligence to scratch off foods that our doctor says that we cannot have. You will never, ever run into some sort of underlying issue that says you need to spike insulin and you need to eat too many calories. And if you think about it, that's all Shibboleth does. We're controlling insulin and modifying our calories. Now, there may be foods on the list, like you may not be able to have cabbage or you may not be able to have shrimp. As long as we cross those off, this isn't the shrimp diet. It's not the chicken and broccoli diet. This is the self-discipline and insulin-controlled diet. That's what it is. And I'm not aware of any underlying disease that needs to spike insulin. And that's really all Shibboleth is. And then we pick out every potential food and food combination for variety that can make that happen. And then if I go to the doctor and I've got kidney disease, kidney stones, and the doctor says, you don't need to be drinking, you don't need any dairy. Now watch. So our program has dairy. We don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. The only reason dairy's on the program, how many of you have heard me say dairy's never good for you? But if I take your dairy away and you love dairy, you might not do the program. So if I can't have dairy, I just cross that out and focus on what I can have, not on what I cannot have. If I've got somebody that's wanting to be a clean eater, well, don't consume the things with Splenda in it. You know, it's just, here's everything out there and how we eat it and still control insulin. You cannot find any issue where we need to be spiking our insulin unless we're trying to gain fat or gain muscle. If you have somebody that's anorexic, yeah, we might need to spike their insulin for a season. But we do not need to be spiking insulin for all cause of premature mortality. Nope. Not good for the kidneys, not good for the cells. It's just not good.
Travis, can I say something about the kidney issues?
Mm-hmm.
For many, many years, I did this program, tried to do this program on my own and cook differently for my family, for my husband. And almost a year and a half ago now, he started doing the program with me. He's had kidney stones all his life. He's had hundreds of kidney stones. And the summer before had to have kidney surgery where they went in and had to clean out. He had hundreds of stones in there and they had to go in and clean them out. Well, he started doing the program with me, like I said, last year. It's been what, a year ago. And he hasn't had any more kidney stones and he hasn't had any more issues. We're just, like you said, really careful about the oxalates. They want him to have so much, but to keep him in control. But since he started eating shibboleth, well, doing shibboleth, doing shibboleth with me, he's lost down to like 135 pounds. He's a little bitty hunk of man, but no issues, no more problems, and with his kidneys or kidney stones or anything. So I just wanted, you reminded me when you was talking about that. It makes a huge difference when we know what we need to watch out for. Shibboleth program is good for all. You just have to modify what you can do and what you can't do in the program. The Shibboleth program is good for everything. Anyway.
I think too, I appreciate what Joy said, because I've probably not, if I were a marketer, I haven't marketed it right. I really believe Shibboleth is like an education. It's a food education. It's not really a diet, if you think about it. It's just we're learning about food, how food breaks down, learning what, based upon our situation and goals, what foods to eat, what foods to avoid. It's really just like going to a rogue school that doesn't fall in line with traditional nutritional academia. That's what it's like.
Well, Faithfully Fit, when you brought Faithfully Fit into the program or onto the scene, it kind of changed everything for we have learned so much.
Oh, thank you.
About why foods react differently, how the minerals and the vitamins and in the foods break down, and what it does for hormones. And I mean, you bringing in Faithfully Fit has really changed everything for all of us, because we're learning why that happens or how that happens, or if this don't work, then do it differently. Or it's not like, oh, the program don't work because this is, I've got to do this or I've got to do that. The program works no matter what. You just have to adapt and learn what is good for you and what's not good for you. And Travis, that's what you have taught us. And it's so amazing. Since last August, I know it's been horrible, but it's been wonderful. We have learned
Yeah.
so much in the last
Yeah, I think you need to.
months.
It comes back, and if you still willing to pay 34, I would take it.
You might have to unmute, Joy.
Oh, I'm sorry. Well, anyway, I just wanted to let you know that I mean it's made a huge difference. It's made a huge difference. I mean, Shibboleth is fantastic. It works for all peoples. All you have to do is adapt. But Faithfully Fit is totally different. Well, I mean, you know what I mean. It's a learning process. It's a way of life. Even though Shibboleth is a way of life, but Faithfully Fit is either clean or it's however you want to make it, but you're learning everything about why food does what it does. And that's what you have done for us. And it is amazing. I'm
Wow.
sorry. Travis pays me a lot of money just to get on here and say all this stuff.
Yeah,
But
right.
No, I
You're just
agree.
speaking truth.
Yeah, and I agree completely because even though I know the program and I lost a lot of weight, but then gained some back because of some stress and could not get it to click for 2 years. Faith,
Uh-oh, we lost you, Gina. We lost you. That was sounding good. I have to put her on payroll too.
Well, I want to interject there also because, I've tried so much and just learning. My kids tell me now they think I've went to school somewhere. I said, I do. I pretty much try to sit on a class every day. So for those of us who aren't partners, I'm going to plug you and say, how much would we have to pay for this education we get? And you just show up to class and we get it every day. The things that I've learned about food. One of the things that happened for me at Easter, we had Resurrection Sunday at our house. We had all the kids came in and I'd planned a holiday and I had a hamburger and I had it on lettuce with tomato and pickles. And the kids thought I was nuts for doing that. But I said, I don't want the bread and eat a dessert. And I had planned to eat this dessert. And I started feeling really sick. I hadn't had sugar in a really long time. And I was starting to feel, I'm taking berberine. I started doing that and I thought I'm gonna take this and see what kind of effect everything has. But I still had that yucky feeling. My whole body just started kind of feeling really weird. And I learned it's the sugar. The sugar. And so I wouldn't have known that had I not been educated through this program. So I thank you so much for that. It is so much more than a diet.
Yeah, I appreciate you too for many, many reasons, Cheryl. You've been a blessing to the program and to me, and you all have. I really appreciate the kind words, and I want to say glory to God because it's been my journey too. I've just learned so much and learn from you all. We're doing this together and healing our temples and feeling better about ourselves and life, and that's what it's all about. Appreciate that. I still remember every food. I was obsessed. What's good about it, bad about it, funny about it. And I did that probably with 100 foods before I quit doing that. I would write down what's good about it, bad about it, funny about it. Well, broccoli is exercise on the stalk. Asparagus is elliptical on a stem. It looks like a mop to push the poo. And I would write all these things and I would just remember it. And, it's good that now thousands of foods and we're just doing it together, learning from each other. I would put all my weight back on. I don't think I would now, but I would have if it hadn't have been for being thrust into trying to teach it and help people. So appreciate y'all very much.
Can I ask one more question? I'm sorry. So sorry. I say I'm sorry, but I have to do it anyway. Is it Lisa Young? Who is it that's doing the Chatsworth meet and greet meet thing, meet Shibboleth meet? Can you tell us?
I believe it is Lisa, isn't
Lisa Young
Lisa, you
or
still,
Lisa Gowan?
no? Maybe it is Lisa Gowans.
Okay. I couldn't remember, and somebody was asking me, so
I should know. Keep in mind, I hadn't slept in a while.
I'm sorry.
No,
I'm so sorry about that.
no. Lisa says, I'm in Pennsylvania. I guess it is. I know it's Lisa. Why was I thinking Lisa Young? We'll find out for you if it's still going on. Anybody else? Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I know it's Lisa, but it's either, if it's Lisa, then it's got to be Lisa Gowans. Did I see your question, Stephanie? Let me look. Travis, when you mention bulletproof coffee, do you mean the bulletproof type of coffee or the actual brand name? Bulletproof type. So coffee with 0 calories is approved. If you're trying to lose weight, I don't believe in adding MCT calories to coffee. I think when you're losing weight, the only way to use MCT is if a recipe calls for a fat. Otherwise, I wouldn't be adding extra calories to anything because we want to be in that calorie deficit. Sometimes it makes sense instead of cooking with a cooking spray because your food otherwise is not enjoyable to add fat. But otherwise, I don't believe that we should be adding fat calories to anything, even MCT. That's going to, it still counts. Those calories still count, even though they have almost no propensity to wind up on the body as fat. You're sparing other calories to be more readily stored as fat if you're not careful.
Hey, Travis, I just thought of a question I was going to ask you the other day, and our life's been kind of crazy. My oldest daughter's getting married Saturday, so I've been in and out of class, and I was in a pedicure the other day, and I had my little headset on so I could listen to the vault thing. They thought I was silly. Anyway, my question is this. I don't do this very often because I don't like spending money on things like this, but you can go through the coffee shops and stuff and you get those drinks that, I mean, they put everything in there, caramel and whipped cream and all that. I saw something recently on a video and I wondered if it was okay to do something like this. How we have our emergency kit in the car, I carry stuff in it. They were talking about skinny syrups for coffee flavoring and stuff, like the caramel or that whatever our favorite is that have 0 calories in them. And the gal said, so if you're out somewhere and you want one of those coffees, that you can get a large cup of ice and just have them put a shot of espresso or whatever their coffee is in it. And then you put your skinny syrup in it to your liking, and then you add your ready to drink protein shake. And you've got an iced coffee that instead of paying $7 or $10 for and all those calories, you have a healthy protein coffee. Is that acceptable? Skinny syrup stuff? I've never used that.
Yeah, that's a great idea. Any skinny syrup or sugar-free syrup, anything like that, and then you use your own RTD, that's brilliant.
Oh,
Great.
the skinny syrup is divine. I have like an entire shelf. I just got in. They had a buy 10, get 2 free on the website. And I was like, oh, yeah. So I have a whole shelf of it now.
Yeah, great idea. The only thing is I would count it as probably a half a snack.
Yeah. Okay. We don't do that very often, but when we're getting ready to start camping, we try to go out camping with the travel trailer once a month or so. And my husband likes the 7 Brew chillers, and they're full of sugar. And I look on their menu, I said, there's nothing here I want. But yeah, I could do that as a snack and make my own protein drink, and that would work. I'll try that. Thank you.
That's a fantastic idea. Anybody else?
Could I ask Cheryl a question?
Sure.
Cheryl, is that protein coffee you're talking about making with the skinny syrup? Is that using a protein mix like GC Control or any approved mix?
Well, okay. So I'm I'm not really, there's an app that people watch all the time, but it'll sometimes come through Facebook. And they were talking about like a Premier Protein. And I know that's not one that's like the best for us. So I have the Advocare ready to drink protein shakes. And that's what they just said, take that and then put it in there, you know, because it shows on my little carton, mine was 140 calories. So I would have to count it as an episode of eating something snack. But I didn't see them make it with, I guess you could do it at home that way, and make it like an iced chiller coffee. But this was just pouring it over ice, and it was the little ready to drinks, but they were promoting the Premier Protein drink.
Yeah.
So for us, we could use whatever our approved protein, ready to drink protein shakes are.
Yeah, that I use what Cheryl uses. I use a little French vanilla RTDs from Advocare, but Premier's fine too. You could use Premier.
I got those the last order, because I some of those kind of, I'm not too fond of their flavors, but I got those to use as coffee creamer or if I just needed something, and they're really good. I just got the plain vanilla one so I could use them multi-purpose, and they are really awesome.
Yeah, you've got if Lean Body from Labrada is a good RTD. I like either Lean Body from Labrada, it's just much better, higher quality, and Advocare. But then Premier probably has more flavors. Lean Body has tons of flavors. It's Labrada Lean Body RTDs, and then I use Advocare because I'm an Advocare guy. Anybody else? All right. Well, I've enjoyed being with you. I'll find out. I don't know why I think it's Lisa, but I got to find out who that is that does. I forgot that they were doing that. We need to start announcing that. Lisa, if you find out. Thank y'all, Lauren. Thank you, everybody. We appreciate you. We'll have class tonight, Lord willing. We've got 7 o'clock and 8 o'clock. 7 o'clock, we'll be tackling more about gut health for partners and faithfully fit members. And then at 8 o'clock, we have our wellness company. Did everybody get what they needed? All right. We appreciate you. We'll close out in a quick word of prayer. It is Lisa Gowans. That's right. Awesome, Penny. Thank you. Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done in earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day, Lord, our daily bread. Forgive us of our debts as we forgive our debtors. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom and the power and the glory forever. Amen. Amen. Thank y'all. Talk to you soon.